Perfect.
Ooh, a lot to sort through after another Saturday in college football. Heather Dinich, Paul Feinbaum are with us to do that. Heather, I want to focus on Alabama and focus on Texas A&M. In this battle for the top team in the SEC, one is ranked higher than the other in the AP poll. That's the Aggies. Why do you still have Bama ahead of A&M in your top 12?
Well, because my job is to look at it through the eyes of the selection committee, and they would take a deeper dive into the Aggies' overall resume. And when you do that, guys, you see that their wins against LSU and Notre Dame are the only opponents that they've defeated with a winning record. Everyone else on Texas A&M's schedule is a combined 20-26. Let that sink in for a second. Alabama, on the other hand, has 4 wins against ranked opponents. They're number 4 in strength of record, number 4 in strength of schedule, number 8 in total efficiency. Overall, Alabama has more quality wins, more statement wins. The question will be, can committee members get over that loss to Florida State, which continues to look worse every week?
And Heather, I think the reason why I think they'll be able to do that is if Alabama and Texas A&M meet in Atlanta in the SEC championship game. And right now, those two are tracking for a major collision. We are really splitting hairs between the two, but what the reason I side with Heather here is what Alabama has done in the last 5 weeks. We all know about Florida State. Nobody wants to hear about that anymore in Alabama, although they were about to hear about South Carolina yesterday. But this is the other team we want to talk about, LSU. They can say goodbye to the playoffs, and Texas A&M continues to impose its will in one of the worst beatdowns I have seen at LSU in a very long time.
That's interesting because now you got A&M, Alabama, Vandy, Ole Miss. All of those guys got big wins. So, Heather, yesterday it seems like it gave us a much clearer picture of who the SEC's real playoff contenders are this season. So, in your estimation, who made the biggest statement, you think, to the committee yesterday?
I'm going to go with Vanderbilt because this is the first week that Vanderbilt has come into my top 12 projection for the selection committee. I had them at number 9. They now have back-to-back wins against ranked SEC teams. And again, back to that full resume, don't forget they went on the road and won convincingly at South Carolina, which just took Alabama to the brink. So when you look at that total body of work, which is what the selection committee would do, I believe right now, even with a loss to Alabama, Vanderbilt's resume is still better than undefeated BYU and undefeated Georgia Tech, but that will be a tough discussion in the committee meeting room.
I'm going with Ole Miss, and maybe it was because I was in Norman yesterday for that game, and to see what Ole Miss did in a driving rainstorm at times, just to finally take that game over in the fourth quarter at a place that is very difficult to win. Chambliss was unbelievable at quarterback, and the defense for Ole Miss was really impressive. But there may be a secondary victory yesterday by Ole Miss winning and impressing the committee. Ole Miss now is probably, if not almost certainly, going to the playoffs, and it will likely tamp down all those rumors that were swirling everywhere in Norman yesterday that Lane Kiffin was heading to Florida.
We'll see. I think Lane Kiffin is really happy that his defense got that win, too, for them in that game. All right, Heather Dinich, Paul Feinbaum, thank you.
They trailed LSU at halftime, y'all, but it was all Aggies in the second half. So, Richard, I'll start with you. What did we learn about Texas A&M in this game?
Well, we learned that A&M's defense is still fierce. We learned that A&M gets better over the course of the game when they find out what they're doing well and what you're doing not so well. We found out that it doesn't really matter what LSU can try to do, whether LSU can get a safety but with a fake punt, whether LSU can keep the game close through the first.
Backs they have out there. I'm a big fan of Ashton Daniels and what he does running the football. Amari Daniels and what he does running the football. They're explosive, as you saw right there at punt returner, the last wide receiver with Casey Concepcion. They're explosive on defense and how they attack you and how they get after the quarterback. They're explosive everywhere. And when you have a young quarterback like Marcel Reed that's growing and becoming an asset, a significant asset on offense, it helps you think about this team long-term win a national championship.
Yeah, Mike Elko really has his team playing at an all-time level. Now, we also had Texas stunned. That's right, stunned Mississippi State because they were down 38-21.
The entire game showed me that this team really loves their head coach. They love each other. They want to win, and they want to win for each other and their head coach. Because you saw Arch Manning play his best game, I thought, of his career, because they were down. He fought them back, had 29 of 30, 46 for 346, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. And he got hurt trying to get positive yards, trying to gain yards and keep his team afloat. And then you got the backup coming in, throwing a dart to the outside, receiving it what he could to keep his feet in bounds. So great team effort. The punt return by Niblett, all of that mattered. They needed every last point to win this ball game. So this was a great team win. This was big for Texas, not just for them in the top 25, but mentally, psychologically, and for their head coach as well.
Speaking about the head coach, right? Before the game, a report came out that he was interested in returning to the NFL, including the Titans job. And Steve Sarkisian, he was quite defiant during his post-game conference about those rumors.
I'd love to touch on this, so bear with me for a second, because it really pisses me off that one person can make a report that in turn the entire media sports world runs with as factual. To the point of my agency and my agents have to put a statement out that they never have done. Historically, CAA, Jimmy Sexton, and Ed Manowitz have never do that. But I had to do that to protect my locker room and my team. And I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I thought it was completely unprofessional of that person to put that report out. And the fact that everybody ran with it is borderline embarrassing for the media. And I respect what you guys do. I really do, and everybody else. But the fact that everybody ran that as truth is really embarrassing. Okay, so I've got a small circle when I make decisions on what I do and what I don't do, and nobody would speak on my behalf without me knowing. And so where that report came from, I'd love to talk to that person because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Richard, man had a whole lot to say here.
You heard Sarkisian say, I would love to touch on this. How often do you get I would love to touch on this? Look, you could tell that this was a distraction all day. I was told that during a staff meeting earlier in the day, the TV was on College Game Day and the Sark to Tennessee Titans link was discussed, and the TV was swiftly muted to stunned silence in the room. So this was a thing that was bubbling around this program all day. You see the statement come out from Jimmy Sexton and Ed Manowitz at CAA, who are Sark's agents, and it says it called the reports patently inaccurate, wildly inaccurate. I mean, they were demonstrative in their denial. You can tell that Sark was very, very upset about that this got out, that this leaked, and that this was a storyline around his program, a day where they go on the road to a fierce Mississippi State team that they were going to have some trouble with no matter what. The Mississippi State team is a good team despite the fact that they are winless in the SEC. They knew that they were going to have to be on their P's and Q's, and you could tell that he did not want this distraction in his program at all, and that's kind of my read on the situation. Sark probably got on the phone to his folks and said, we got to put something out here. We got to kill this right now.
Handle it.
You do not usually see a statement from an agency with the agents named on it attributed like that.
Yeah, very telling stuff with the rebuttal, right, the denial, and then obviously Sark very passionate post game. Now we have to get to our losers. Sark is not a loser, right? His team wins. You get to put the statement out. Emory, who do you have as your loser in this week?
Iowa State. I was big on Iowa State in the beginning of the season when they were 5-0, riding high, winning great games.
It's their best player by a wide margin. It's the thing that makes their offense go. He was not able to go in this game, and you saw what happened. They were really able.